All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into something pretty wild. The hidden architecture that actually links together the entire universe, your own mind, and even the internet. So let's just jump right in with a question that honestly sounds a little crazy. I mean, think about it. You've got distant galaxies, the inner workings of your own thoughts, and the global internet. What on earth could these three things possibly have in common? Well, the answer is kind of surprising. It turns out all three are shaped by these powerful, invisible structures. We're talking about hidden forces and patterns that we're only just now starting to see and, really understand. Okay, so to get our heads around this, let's start big. I mean, as big as you can possibly get, the cosmos itself. And what's wild is, most of what's out there, we can't see it at all. And that brings us to this first huge cosmic mystery, dark matter. We call it dark for a simple reason. It gives off zero light. So if we can't see it, how in the world do we know it's even there? Well, it's because while it's invisible, it has mass. A ton of it, actually. And that mass pulls on everything we can see with this incredible gravitational force. And we can actually see these effects, all thanks to an idea that Einstein came up with more than 100 years ago. It's called gravitational lensing. So here's the deal. Normally, light from a distant star just travels in a straight line, right across the universe, straight to our telescopes. Simple enough. But what happens when something absolutely massive and totally invisible gets in the way? Yeah, this is where it gets really cool. A giant blob of dark matter acts like this invisible lens, just floating out in space. It's so incredibly massive that it literally bends the fabric of space-time around it. Professor Chris Fastnacht has this great analogy. He says it's like a funhouse mirror. It just warps the reality that light is traveling through. So that light has to follow the curve. It has no other choice. And because of that, what we see isn't the galaxy as it actually is. Nope, we see this distorted, stretched out, magnified version of it. And by studying those tiny little wiggles in the light, astronomers can actually create a map of something that is completely and utterly invisible. How cool is that? Okay, so we've seen this hidden structure in space. Now let's completely switch gears and jump from the vastness of the cosmos right into the inner world of the human mind. Because if the universe has a hidden structure, well, what about our own consciousness? I mean, is it really possible that our thoughts, our very awareness of the world, could have their own kind of unseen geometry? It sounds like science fiction, but some recent research is suggesting the answer is a definite and kind of mind-blowing yes. So check this out. A really groundbreaking study published in the journal Nature found something absolutely astonishing. Researchers were looking at these things called grid cells in the brain. They're basically our internal GPS system. And they found that when these cells work together, their activity creates this perfect, stable, donut-like shape, a shape that mathematicians call a torus. Now here's the crucial part. This donut shape, it's not a map of the room you're sitting in. Not at all. It's a totally abstract internal code that the brain uses to represent space. You can think of it like this pure mathematical object that only exists in the firing patterns between your neurons, and its whole job is to protect your sense of where you are. And this really shows you the power of that hidden structure. Your sense of location isn't just stored in one single neuron that could die or misfire. No, it's protected by the stable geometry of the whole system. The information is the shape. It's this incredibly resilient structure that holds on, even as individual brain cells are changing all the time. All right, so we've gone from the cosmic to the mental. Our journey now takes us to the digital world that we've all built. And guess what? It also has an invisible architecture, and the flaws in that architecture can have absolutely devastating consequences. Yeah, just like the dark matter in space or the geometry in our brains, our digital world is haunted by its own unseen forces. Only this time, they're not mysterious clumps of matter. They are tiny, invisible vulnerabilities buried deep inside millions and millions of lines of code. The WannaCry attack is just a perfect and really devastating example of this. It all started with an invisible weapon, a vulnerability in the code called Eternal Blue. Now, Microsoft released a patch for it, but critical systems like hospitals, they hesitated. And you can see why, right? A bad update could accidentally take life-saving equipment offline. But that hesitation, that small window of vulnerability, that was everything the attackers needed. An invisible flaw in the digital world led to very real, very visible chaos, crippling hospitals all across the globe. Okay, let's pause for a second. We've got these powerful, invisible structures in the cosmos, inside our own heads, and in the technology we've created. I mean, these things seem totally unrelated. So how do we connect them? What's the thread here? Well, the philosopher Terence McKenna, he saw a really deep connection. He pointed out that human minds and machine minds are just fundamentally different. We are fantastic at generalization, at intuition, at seeing the big picture. Machines, on the other hand, they are absolute masters of pure, logical, brute force computation. He argued that they're not rivals at all. They're complementary partners. And this led McKenna to a really powerful idea. He said we should think of our technology as a kind of prosthesis, not for our bodies, but for our minds. These amazing tools we build are designed to do one thing: extend our senses into these hidden realms that we just can't perceive on our own. And this is exactly how we start to perceive the unperceivable. A radio telescope, that becomes a prosthetic eye, letting us see the gravitational wiggles caused by dark matter. Complex data analysis, that becomes a prosthetic sense, allowing us to feel the hidden geometry of our own thoughts. You see, these tools aren't separate from us. They're just extensions of our own deep-seated curiosity. And all of this leads to a final, really profound takeaway about our relationship with the world we're creating, and maybe, just maybe, our place in it. What's happening is we're creating a world where technology isn't just a simple tool anymore. It's a partner in discovery. We're in this amazing symbiotic loop. We build the machines, and in return, those machines help us uncover the unseen architecture of reality itself, from the edge of the universe right back down into our own consciousness. Now, the media theorist Marshall McLuhan, he put this same idea in a much bolder way. His quote here suggests that maybe we're part of a much bigger process, that we're basically playing a specific biological role in a planet-wide transformation that is being driven by technology for technology. And that leaves us with one last, kind of staggering thought from Terence McKenna. What if this relentless drive we have to build these prosthetics, to map all these invisible structures, what if it's not just about human curiosity? What if we're actually catalysts for the Earth itself to grow conscious? A fascinating and, yeah, maybe a little unsettling thought to end on.